Hey guys, Ponce here with a quick little review of Dark Souls 3, the Ringed City DLC. Or at least it's going to be quick for me anyway. I'm sure I'll yammer on for like 20 minutes. So I did beat this on stream last night. I played through all of it. Um, Keep in mind there will be spoilers, I suppose. Like this is footage of me playing from last night. The quality's a bit low because I'm watching like an old Twitch footage thing and it's slow, so I had to turn the quality down. So it's good. The actual game will look better than this. And of course, I'm going to be talking about kind of spoilerish stuff. Nothing like super specific, but I would question both the sanity and general competence of anyone who would come to a review video and complain about spoilers. So, anyway, moving right along here, let's just cut right to the chase, get to the base point here. This DLC is fantastic. Um, that's really all there is to it. Review over. No, I mean, I suppose that's the important thing. Will you enjoy this DLC? Is it worth it? This absolutely was. This is the DLC that I think everyone was expecting for Ashes of Ariandel in terms of quality. Um, Both just kind of in terms of level design, the sort of the atmosphere of the area, the new mob types, the new gear that you find. The boss fights are fantastic. They are an absolute highlight of this, and there's more bosses than the first DLC. Let's put it that way. It's basically every time you go into one of those boss fights, you're kind of reminded, oh yeah, this is Dark Souls. This is really cool. This is what everyone loves about the series. So those were absolutely fantastic. There were no lazy boss. I mean, I guess you could maybe make an argument for one of the boss fights being a bit lazy, but it's like an extra thing. I may as well talk about it a bit. It's like a PvP thing, and it's just kind of like a little aside. I wouldn't, hold it against the game. It's a bit gimmicky, but it's kind of an amusing little, thing at the side. I really like some of the gear they give you because it's kind of funny because on one level it's like just really good stuff, and you're like, I feel like I'm being bribed here because they're just gonna, makes people happy for once. So they're actually getting really good stuff. But given the, the content is actually relatively difficult, and theoretically this is kind of like the last hurrah of the series, I think, or at least that's what they say. Although I'm sure they'll return it to it at some point, given money and whatnot. But I don't know. It feels like you're pandering a bit in terms of what they give you. Um, but it's definitely, I don't know. It's nice. It was very novel to have the game be nice to you on a certain front for once. In terms of the general difficulty, the content is probably overall the most difficult of anything thus far. I actually died a good number of times, and not to toot my own horn here. I think I used that exact phrase the last time I was talking about Dark Souls or the Ashes of the Ariandel DLC. But I do challenge runs, I do speed runs and stuff like that, or at least to do those. Maybe I'm a bit rusty, but the fact that things actually killed me in the DLC, I think, is pretty noteworthy. Both in terms of environment and the boss fights. Like once you get the boss fights, you get the boss fights. That's just how they work. But sort of learning them, some of them were relative challenges. The first one was kind of easy, I thought, but anyway. Uh, I did release a video of me fighting all the bosses. So if you want to see exactly what I'm talking about, at the end of the video, there's going to be like this annotation thing or cards or whatever they're called, where you can click on it and go check out the boss fights. If you're interested in just kind of seeing those beforehand, I highly recommend you check those out because again, the bosses were the absolute highlight of this whole thing here. Now there were a couple areas that were a little bit so. This gets towards like the extra stuff. Now Dark Souls, especially the DLCs, they always tend to have like, I think it's just a bit of a problem with how they work, not necessarily, but they tend to sort of fizzle out after you've beaten everything, and it's this huge high, and it's like, wow, this DLC was great. And then there's like a bit of extra crap on the side that's really obscure and somewhat obtuse, and I'm kind of working through that right now, and I'm not finished it, so I don't think I'm particularly qualified to talk about it. But it always just kind of feels like a little bit of a letdown. That there's this sort of extra stuff that you look for, and it's not really as cool. There's a bit of a tie-in with the first DLC, which is I don't want to talk about it too much because that's pretty spoilerish. But again, review. I shouldn't have to worry about spoilers, but I'm gonna be nice and just talk about it too much. But it really kind of feels like, well, I suppose the last boss. He's really cool, and it completely distracts you for any kind of lore implications. Like the fight is awesome. I'm tempted to say he's the best boss fight in this. Again, like if you say he's only the second best boss fight, that might not be so impressive. But there's other really cool boss fight. So I mean, I don't let that take anything away from the last boss fight. But basically, I don't know. It kind of feels like the ending to Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Or what was the exact title of that movie? Where it's just the ending sort of fizzles out in a little bit of a weird sort of way. And it's like, wait, the Grail was in the castle the whole time, and the French got it. What? He was just a minor character, sort of thing. But um, anyway, it was still really cool. It's just kind of how it ties back into the first DLC that felt weird. And again, I don't know, maybe there's more to it. This is so super early on that I can't be 100% certain. But anyway, that's just sort of a minor complaint. Again, I don't want it to sort of detract from the whole experience, which was incredibly just really good. And I'm wondering, I've heard someone say, I don't know the truth of this, but allegedly it was supposed to be one gigantic DLC to begin with, and there's sort of this weird tie-in stuff. And I'm wondering if they did add something, or if they added some things to tie it in. But in any case, I wouldn't worry about that too much. Final verdict. Is this the best DLC that's ever been released for Dark Souls? From the quality and number of bosses on its own, I would say yes. I think the DLC from the first game could give it a run for its money in terms of general quality. That was a really good bit of DLC too. But I don't know, this one, I don't know. I think with more time and perspective, I would be able to make a better call. But for the time being, this DLC was just fantastic, and I'd rather not, try and rank them or anything. So anyway, I'm running out of ways to say this is great DLC. You should get it. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm off to stream this game for a few more days. Probably like I said, I got a few more things to clean up. There's some really cool PvP stuff. I should mention, I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler, I suppose, but there's a covenant that's pretty important in terms of like raw like features to the game. So I don't feel it's a bad thing to share that. So there's covenant stuff I might want to try out. There's general new items that I want to mess around with. Some really cool gear. You see me messing around with basically the entirety of this video in the background. I'm messing around with a new weapon there, but yeah. Anyway, that's actually it for me. Thank you, everyone. If you're interested in some streaming, I might be streaming on twitch.tv/bonts. Definitely immediately after uploading this video. That's the plan anyway. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to answer or ask in the comments below or me on stream. I'm sure I forgot some stuff I wanted to talk about because, again, I'm trying to be like somewhat vague, but, also encompassing in a very general sort of sense in terms of the general feel of everything. So yeah, anyway, I don't know how long this is going to be. I said this was going to be short, wasn't I? But then I corrected myself. So anyway, goodbye.